Just ahead on CTV News, a former county police officer files a lawsuit against the Fraternal Order of Police. Plus,
coming up on CTV News, County Council had a packed agenda for the last day of their 2024 legislative year. We break down key bills.
A shooting in Landover leaves one person dead. I'm Byron Scott. We'll have that story coming up.
Those stories and more coming up next on CTV News.
Good evening. This is CTV News for October 22nd. I'm Mariah Jalad. Thanks for joining us. A former Prince George's County police officer has filed a lawsuit in federal court alleging wrongful termination for exposing corruption. Lieutenant Sonia Zoli-Koffer was with the Internal Affairs Division while she was investigating two white officers who were accused of assaulting a black driver during a 2017 traffic stop. Zoli-Koffer says officials retaliated against her after she discovered 7 minutes of body camera video had been erased and tried to investigate why the 7 minutes were missing.
This scheme sought to destroy Lieutenant Zoli-Koffer's reputation and career, all because she was trying to do the right thing. She was trying to stand by integrity and chose integrity over institutional loyalty.
Zoli-Koffer is suing the Fraternal Order of Police and a police officer. She is seeking unspecified monetary damages. And today, the county is set to consider a series of important new bills. CTV's Michaela Newton is on the scene with the details.
Well, today marks the final day for bills to be introduced for the 2024 legislative year, and the County Council has a packed agenda. Now, among some of the key issues, they're following some housing code violations, tackling shopping cart thefts, and enhancing transparency and law enforcement accountability. At the last meeting before the new legislative year, Prince George's County Council is focusing on several important bills. Councilmember Wanika Fisher is introducing a bill aimed at reducing the number of stray shopping carts cluttering our streets. This new measure, CB 98/2024, would require retailers with more than 20 carts to take steps to prevent people from removing them from their properties.
I just see shopping carts all around my community, and I was getting very frustrated. It was hard to figure out who in the county government, Department of Environment, or our haulers could pick it up. And I just really was like, retailers need to start at the source and prevent people from being able to even take a cart off of retail property.
Another important bill is CB 79. This one targets persistent housing code violations in the county. It proposes creating an investigation unit with the Department of Permitting, Inspections, and Enforcement. Now, this team would work alongside the Department of the Environment and the Revenue Authority to tackle and enforce code violations effectively. Today, the council voted to hold that bill.
If you do want to run a business out of your home, that's not illegal in Prince George's County, but you have to get a use and occupancy permit to do that.
There's also a bill focused on ensuring transparency and law enforcement accountability. It seeks to clarify current practices to make sure they apply to both on-duty and off-duty conduct, aligning with existing law enforcement guidelines. And the County Council also introduced a resolution that would show their support for a cell phone ban in the county. As far as those other measures, those other key bills, they are continuing to vote on those measures, but we will keep you updated. Reporting in Prince George's County, Maryland, I'm Michaela Newton for CTV News.
Thank you, Michaela. The County Council is hoping that the Prince George's County public school system will get on board with that cell phone ban. And a man is shot dead, and the search is on for the killers. The violence erupted this morning in Landover. A car was riddled with bullet holes, the street littered with shell casings. Byron Scott is at the scene with more.
This is where the shooting happened at around 9:30 this morning, and I'll hop out of the way here, adjacent to the J.B. Jenkins Funeral Home at 75th Avenue and Landover Road. You see here detectives still looking over the evidence markers. I can count at least 65 evidence markers here on 75th Avenue. Now, again, this happened at around 9:30 this morning. Police tell us they found a person dead, shot dead in the back of a vehicle. You can see the vehicle, the bullet holes in the side rear door there. and that's what they are telling us at this point. Now, we did see someone later this afternoon who walked up to, we didn't talk to him, but he appeared to know who the victim was, and we took that by his actions. Now, again, this happened around 9:30, and as of right now, police saying this had nothing to do with a funeral going on at the funeral home.
We do know so far that we are looking for multiple suspects that arrived and fled in a vehicle, but we're still working to determine the lookout description of that vehicle.
That is the latest at the scene here in Landover. I'm Byron Scott. Back to you.
Thanks, Byron, and we'll be bringing any updates in that story. And after being found guilty of killing his child's mother and grandmother and setting fire to an apartment with his infant child inside, a Maryland man is sentenced to 68 years in prison. 35-year-old Keenan Turner was sentenced for the 2021 murders late last week. Evidence presented at Turner's trial said Turner and Ebony Wright had been in a relationship, but after Wright refused to terminate her pregnancy and sued Turner for child support, Turner killed her and her mom and attempted to kill another relative and his own child. And Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown has joined a coalition of attorneys general in asking the U.S. Supreme Court to protect a key provision of the Affordable Care Act. The provision guarantees access to critical preventative care for millions of Americans. The coalition is urging the court to grant a review of a lower court's decision that prohibits the federal government from enforcing certain aspects of the provision. And a group supporting the abortion ballot question in Maryland launches a $500,000 ad campaign to help pass the measure. The ad features other states that have successfully voted reproductive rights into their constitution and calls on Marylanders to do the same. Freedom in Reproduction Maryland created the ad campaign, and it is the largest media spend for the ballot question that would protect abortion rights in the Maryland Constitution. Question 1, as the ballot measure is known, is supported by nearly 70% of Marylanders, according to a poll released this week. And early voting gets underway in Maryland in just 2 days. One woman looking to still win over voters is U.S. Senate candidate Angela Also Brooks. The Democrat stopped at the Grooming Lounge, a barbershop in Kettering, this afternoon. Also Brooks, along with State Senator Nick Charles and Delegate Karen Tolles, held a discussion today. Topics included everything from the county health care services, the benefits of the FBI headquarters moving to Greenbelt, and why Congress is stalling on gun legislation.
We are not taking our foot off the gas until we get through Election Day, but I feel good. You know what, the energy has been incredible. Everywhere we have gone. We were in Baltimore last night. We probably had over 200 people come out there. We were in just in Harford County and had the same turnout. So everywhere we've been across the state, we're seeing that people are really fired up to vote, and in particular Democrats and others understand the stakes of this election.
And when I tell you the type of phenomenal leader that this woman is, this is the person that we need to have in the United States Senate that's going to fight for us. This is the person, when we needed a cancer center, she was right there by our side in Annapolis, making sure that we brought the dollars home so we can have a cancer center, the first of its kind, right here in Prince George's County.
Also, Brooks is looking to defeat Republican Larry Hogan for a seat in the U.S. Senate. Maryland's early voting period begins October 24th and runs through October 31st. You're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Jalad. Still to come, a new coalition wants to enhance work conditions for rideshare drivers. I'll have that story and more after the break.
Hello, I'm State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy. My office initiated the Prince George's County Collaborative to end family violence.
Hello. I'm Prince George's County Sheriff John Carr, and I'm here as a partner with the Prince George's County Collaborative.
Everyone is united in ending family violence, but we need you to ask for help.
One victim is one victim too many.
Hashtag say help.
Hashtag say help.
Visit www.sayhelppgc.org.
I would tell anybody who is interested in getting a VA loan to just do it.
For me, the best thing about the VA loan was the simplicity of it. I was expecting, government paperwork, it was going to go on forever, and it just wasn't.
Since the down payment for a VA loan is minimal, We were able to purchase this home and then use the money that we were going to use as a down to actually fix up the home.
And the only way we could do that was because the nest egg that we had saved for the down payment, we didn't have to use because we went the VA route.
This is a wonderful benefit that veterans can take advantage of.
In the military, we make a lot of sacrifices. We're away from our family a lot, much more so than we'd like to, and we see them trying to grow up from afar oftentimes. And with the VA loan, it's a way that it makes it easier for us to get a home.
Welcome back. A mass food poisoning incident in Jessup sent 46 people to the hospital Monday evening. Howard County fire officials responded to multiple reports at a food distribution center on the 7700 block of Chesapeake Bay Court. Firefighters evaluated over 30 patients with crews from Anne Arundel and Baltimore counties assisting. All patients were transported in non-critical condition. Officials believe this was an isolated incident. Well, have you ever wanted to do more in the criminal justice system but have no experience or don't know where to start? Well, the Prince George's Court Watch is currently recruiting court watchers. Volunteers act as public observers, ensuring that judges, prosecutors, and other legal professionals are held accountable for their action in court. By being present, court watchers ensure that every defendant has a fair opportunity and that the law is applied fairly. For more information on how to get involved, visit courtwatchpg.com. And the University of Maryland police are cracking down on e-scooter thefts around campus. On the left side of your screen is 23-year-old Dixon Leon Gomez, who was charged for 4 different e-scooter thefts. The thefts occurred between September 27th and October 2nd. And to the right is 30-year-old Christian Segovia Tomasino, who was charged for 2 different e-scooter thefts. The first case was back in August and the second was October 5th. And the ATU Local 689 just announced a historic coalition with the DMV Drivers Alliance and the Asian American Pacific Islander Civic Engagement Collaborative. The partnership wants to provide better working conditions for rideshare workers in both Maryland and D.C. Leadership in the ATU say that this partnership will provide better opportunities for rideshare workers in our area to make a living driving for Uber and Lyft.
Throughout our entire history, ATU Local 689 has been fighting for those workers who are disadvantaged, and in today's landscape, we know that Uber drivers and Lyft drivers and other rideshare drivers are taken advantage of. They don't have as much legal protections. They're at the whims of the companies in terms of scheduling them for shifts, issues with pay, deactivating accounts, and so ATU Local 689 has formed this collaboration to help advocate for these riders, or for the rideshare drivers, to make sure that they get a chance at really building a better life for themselves.
And ATU President Raymond Jackson says that workers for Uber and Lyft are still fighting the same battles that led to the founding of the ATU over 100 years ago, and they will continue to support these drivers. And Maryland's transportation and housing departments are teaming up to create more transit-oriented development. The secretaries for the Maryland Departments of Transportation and Housing signed a memorandum of understanding yesterday. The agreement aims to push the state in creating more mixed-use and mixed-income housing developments that are within a half-mile of transit stations. The memorandum contributes to Maryland meeting its transit, economic development, housing, and climate goals. And Maryland Senate President Bill Ferguson says he'll sponsor a bill to remove trash incineration from the state's list of renewable energy subsidies. In a post on social media, Ferguson said the bill would remove waste incineration from the list of energy sources the state can use to meet certain clean energy mandates. Supporters say while incinerators do produce some energy, they also release pollutants that diminish air quality. Similar versions of the bill have been introduced for several years. Still, Ferguson says the timing could be right this year. And still to come on CTV News, the Washington International Horse Show is in Prince George's County this week. Find out what's in store at the main event after the break.
Listen up. It's the fourth quarter. You're almost there. Your boys just turned 18, but they need one more push. Don't let them forget to register with the Selective Service System. It's required by law, and if they don't register, they'll miss out on many important federal benefits. Parents, teachers, coaches, say it with me, sss.gov. SSS.gov. Let's get them registered today.
Us. It's what this country is made of. A helping hand, a shoulder to lean on. Different voices.
Hello.
One sacred bond. But right now, that bond is fraying. Where do we find common ground? How do we get back to us? The why fills the gaps and bridges our divides. Now, more than ever, the why needs your support. Because where there's a why, there's an us. For a better us, support your local why today.
Well, a new rule banning fake online reviews has gone into effect. The Federal Trade Commission issued the rule back in August. It bans reviews from people who don't exist or are AI generated, people who don't have experience with what they are reviewing, and those who misrepresent their experience. The agency will now be able to seek civil penalties against those who violate the rule. Businesses can also be penalized for creating and selling fake reviews. Violations can be reported at reportfraud.ftc.gov. And another popular restaurant chain is having some financial issues. According to reports, TGI Fridays is preparing to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Reports indicate that the restaurant chain is expected to meet with lenders to potentially get new financing. The company has already closed 36 locations across the United States just this year. And here in Maryland, we have a total of 16 TGI Fridays. And the Prince George's County Planning Department is the winner of 2 Maryland Planning Awards for outstanding work on projects and programs. The department received an award for its Neighborhood Planning Academy, which addresses citizens' complaints specifically in regard to government zoning and development, which can be complicated for the average person. The department also received an award for the Woodland and Wildlife Conservation Ordinance Amendment, which encourages preserving rural areas and enhancing urban tree canopy in underserved areas. And rein in the excitement, the Washington International Horse Show has finally returned to Prince George's County. I met with one rider who is preparing for her competition this week, as is her horse.
Getting pretty. My horse's name is Park City. He's actually a new mount for me. And one of my goals right away was to qualify for this horse show. It's just really special to be here.
Devin rides in the Hunter Division competition.
It's judged on your accuracy, your seamlessness, how you execute the course, and at a degree of, the quality of your horse and how it does the course.
One thing Park City is doing to prepare is getting his hair braided. Another important factor in a horse's performance is his shoes, so it's off to the farrier.
So horses, it's no different than you getting a pedicure, but a horse normally gets it once a month. So they get their feet trimmed, new shoes built for their feet, and when we're trimming a horse's foot, it's literally lining up the bony column in their leg, so it's kind of like podiatry.
A lot of people think it hurts a horse, but it doesn't. It's just...
So it's kind of the same process as what kind of tires you put on your car for the job that it's doing. So pretty important.
The show kicked off at the Equestrian Center Monday, and it's brought riders, trainers, and more from across the country.
I think being here amongst the best of the best and watching the other competitors, really the top professionals are showing today. I was just sitting in there admiring and watching, getting to see my friends that live on different parts of the country is also a treat. And I really love this area and these showgrounds.
Riders are competing for prizes as high as $300,000 and to qualify for the world stage. And the competition is fierce.
We have riders from 13 different countries competing, many Olympians here, even ones from Paris that won the silver medal for the U.S.
Admission to the show is free in the daytime, and events later this week will include kids' pony races, the Jumping World Cup, barn night, and a costume class. Any event you catch, you'll be seeing some major talent right here in the county.
Really love being able to stay at night and watch the best riders in the world compete, and I think that's what spectators can get an appreciation for the sport and how incredible it is, and the partnership between the horse and the rider.
Your last day to visit the horse show is this Sunday, October 27th. And although the Battle of the Beltway brought excitement to both Washington and Baltimore's fan bases, a moment occurred that does not belong in sports. This is 24-year-old John Collis, a Ravens fan who went viral for physically attacking Commanders fans in the street following a 30-23 home victory for the Ravens. Collis turned himself into police yesterday, and according to the Baltimore Police Department, he's facing 4 assault charges. The assault took place on South Charles Street in downtown Baltimore, and since last week, the video of the incident has been viewed almost 50 million times. And speaking of the Commanders, Bryce Parker's here with the Tuesday Sports page. What do we got going on today?
Yes, Mariah, we have a big day in sports. It's a lot of things going on. If you're a fan of all types of different sports, today is the sports page for you.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. If you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego, I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes, walk a mile in my shoes, yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How is it? Is it good?
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
All right, sports fans, let's get right into it. We start our sports page today with the Washington Commanders. We have an update on quarterback Jaden Daniels' rib injury that he suffered in the first quarter against the Carolina Panthers this weekend. Daniels would not return to the game, but appeared in good spirits on the sideline, cheering his team on. Head coach Dan Quinn spoke to the media yesterday about the latest on his injury.
The status for Jaden we'll put down as week to week. As you guys know, it's a rib injury, and we'll take him through, all the steps at practice and assess how he's doing and keep working it through that. We're hopeful he can play, but we'll also make sure to take every precautionary step and do it smartly for the player and the man. It was the opening play. He was able to finish out that drive, but it was the best, call to wait it out. And like I said, we'll see where he is, going through the steps at practice this week, and we'll make a decision as we go. But literally, like, we're not going to miss one step of this. All the way through. It's really important to get it right, and we will.
Now, we should have a clearer picture on Daniels' status soon, as the first official injury report will be released by the team after practice tomorrow. If Daniels cannot suit up this weekend, veteran quarterback Marcus Mariota will make the start against the Chicago Bears on Sunday. And sticking with football, we had madness on Monday night. The Ravens had an absolute offensive explosion against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Over 500 yards of total offense for the Ravens. And just look at Lamar doing Lamar-velous things that only he can do. He ended the day with 5 touchdown passes. And look at this one right here to Rashad Bateman. Just look at this. He couldn't go and place the ball down better if he even tried. We have a Bateman bomb, and he had a career day with 121 yards. And do my eyes deceive me, or is that Mark Andrews, who had a terrible start to the season, but he's finding the end zone not once, not twice, and now he is the all-time leader in receiving touchdowns in franchise history. And I couldn't end the highlights without this miraculous run down the left sideline by Derrick Henry, just dusting Bucs defenders as he's done all season. The Ravens would end the game with a win, and head coach John Harbaugh would have high praise for his quarterback.
He's the ultimate competitor. There's no question about it. I don't know if I've seen a better competitor than Lamar Jackson. And I've seen some competitors, some great competitors. But he is in that level with the greatest competitors that I've ever seen. Maybe the greatest. We'll see.
High praise from Coach. The Ravens will be back on the road next week to take on their division rival, the Cleveland Browns. And switching up to hoops, the WNBA Players Association has opted out of their current collective bargaining agreement. Spokesperson of the Players Association made an announcement stating that they are seeking, quote, a business model that reflects their true value, encompassing salaries, enhanced professional working conditions, expanded health benefits, and crucial investments needed for long-term growth. This comes on the heels of rookie seasons of former stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and our very own Washington Mystics' Aaliyah Edwards, who have brought increased interest and revenue to the sports league. Viewership in the league is up 170% from last season. And wrapping up sports, Washington Wizards forward Corey Kispert signed a 4-year, $54 million extension with the team. The 6'6" sharpshooter averaged an impressive 38% from three-point range last season. Kispert is going on his 4th season with the team. In high school football, the DeMatha Stags are now the number 24 ranked football team in the country following their 35-7 victory over Good Counsel last week. In soccer, the UMD men's soccer team continues their historic season as the 6th ranked team in the country. Their latest match was a 1-1 tie to fellow ranked opponent, the UCLA Bruins. And finally, the Bowie State volleyball team dominated Conference Pro Lincoln University last night in straight sets. And that is your Tuesday Sports page.
So, Bryce, this has just been an explosive year for the WNBA. I mean, I have these numbers here. The finals game between the Lynx and the Liberty, 2.2 million viewers. That's like an all-time high, 25 years. So how do you think them opting out of their contract and just exploding in the past year is going to affect all of women's sports?
Yes, I think this is going to be a monumental moment that we're going to look back 5, 10, 20 years from now and say this was one of the turning points. I mean, we've seen women's sports all year long kind of draw more attention than men's sports. You know, we had college basketball, the Olympics, now the WNBA doing it more than their male counterparts, and now we're seeing the WNBA opting out, and it's going to be one of those moments where we see women be like, no. We're here, we're on the map, and we deserve a seat at the table.
Yeah, don't underestimate us, right? All right, thanks, Bryce. Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Such a beautiful day today, and tomorrow is looking just as nice. It'll be another sunny day with a high of 79 and low of 52. Thursday, we'll get some clouds, and temps will drop to 65 degrees. Friday, more clear skies are on the way. We'll have a high of 68 and low of 50. For our community calendar, this Friday, the Watkins Regional Park is hosting a Trek or Treat walk-through Halloween event. Come dressed in your best Halloween costume and trek through the haunted trail, packed with spooky games, mazes, creepy characters, and more. This event is perfect for kids 12 and under who'd like to collect candy and some other treats. For more information, contact 301-218-6700. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, everybody.